Hey guys, it's M4J here, and welcome back to the Real Hatfield Town here on Football Manager 2021. We are champions of the Isthmian League Division 1 South Central? Is that? Yeah, South Central. We won the league. We have currently got 94 points out of 35 games. There are 3 matches to go this season. We're currently, 16 points ahead of second place, AFC Portchester. It's been a good old season. So we got 2 home games left, and we got an away game. The plan this episode is to play both home matches, one after the other. Obviously, I'll go away and do the away game in between, and then we'll come back and we'll do the final home game. In terms of squad and everything, I don't think much has changed, in all honesty. We might have had a little bit of rotation, but otherwise, pretty much what you'd expect. I don't think anyone's joined, anyone's left. I've started looking at players for next season. No announcements yet. I can't remember. Did I have Jake Reeves last episode? I think I might have brought him in after last episode. Thinking about it. Can I get rid of that? There we go. Yeah, he's only played 4 games for us, so I think that was off camera. So Jake Reeves has joined. In real life, he plays for Stevenage at the moment, which is how I knew to look him up. He joined Stevenage from Notts County. And before that, he was at Bradford, Wimbledon, Swindon, Brentford, Wimbledon again, and St Albans way back at the start of his career. 2 appearances, no goals. So he's kind of localish, I suppose. Brentford to St Albans and then onwards from there. He must have had a really good season in 2016-17 for Bradford to spend 150 grand on him. But, I mean, they were a League One team. He went to another League One team and ended up getting relegated with them, but don't think it was his fault. Seems to have had an injury here as well. Didn't play for Bradford at all that season, unless that's a glitch in the Matrix, of course. But yeah, we're going to go straight into the first game then, which is against, is it Chalfont St. Peter or Chalfont St. Peter? I think it's Chalfont St. Peter, I think. Maybe. And I'm going to make some changes to the team. So I've had, like, kind of the reserves playing recently. But it's time to bring some of the big dogs back, he says, whilst actually looking down the reserves list again. First of all, I'm going to bring Sadie back in. We're going to swap these 2 round, and I'm going to start Baker up front. Hilton's going to drop out. What would you say his position would be? Maybe like a cam. So if I had a player who could play cam, I would bring them in. I'm also going to bring Chowdhury in for Cantwell, who's picked up a rather nasty knee injury, out for between 3 and 5 weeks with a partially torn ACL, which is about one of the most painful things you could do by the sounds of things. I'm going to bring Hudson Doncaster in for Hilton. I've changed my resolution here, you might have noticed. The reason for that is I've been playing a lot on my laptop, but I've got this problem with the Steam Cloud still, so I've been streaming from my desktop to my laptop, and the resolution is going from 4K down to 1080, and it just looks really horrible. So I lowered the resolution down to 1080 here so that it wouldn't be scrunched when I look at it on my laptop screen. Scrunched, is that the technical term? Probably. So those, I think, are the changes I'm going to make for this first game. So we've got Murray in goal. Back 4 of Brown, Ruiz, Evans, Harwood. Midfield duo of Gadja and Boateng. Advanced midfield of Rice Puto, Sadie and Afsar Chowdhury, and then Baker up top. Bench is Enclair, Spooner, Vela, Akram Chowdhury, Hudson Doncaster, Griffiths and Cotter. Pretty happy with this. As I said, this is it's a swan song for some of our players. They won't be around next season for one reason or another. And I do want to try and cram in at least one more season of this series before moving on to the new series, but I'm actually going to announce the new series in this episode. I'll probably do it during the second match just to keep you guys around for that. And this is an exclusive. I've not even spoken to the club about this yet, so hopefully it all goes well. But yeah, I've been sitting on this for a while. I've been talking to my brother about it, who helps me out a lot, edits the highlights, as you know. And is kind of an ideas person with me, and I've spoken to my girlfriend about it. She's just a nice soundboard to use for coming up with ideas and stuff like that. It's always nice to have someone where you can just go, hey, I've had this crazy idea to do this, and let's see what Baker does. Oh, that should have been a save. And just have someone be really positive about it and be like, yeah, that sounds awesome, let's do it. Kind of thing, rather than being the realist and being going to have someone who's a realist and just go, oh no, I don't think that would actually work at all. It's nice to have someone, like, my brother's a bit more of a pessimist. My girlfriend's most definitely an optimist. And you get a nice mix. And I'm the realist of the trio. Anyway, completely irrelevant to the subject. Baker's put us 1-0 up here. Sadie with the good run to win the penalty in the first place. And he's made another good run here. And that's another good ball. And that's Rice Puto with the shot. I think the offside flag has gone up. But that is a bit of a miss there for Rice Puto. I would have expected him to put that away without a shadow of a doubt. Nice run from Sadie again, though. Let me get the replay. Hopefully that's the only replay we get. Yes, it looks like it is. And now the time ticks by. So yeah, the series, Real Hatfield Town, I liked it. There are some things that I would have changed. The big one is I wish I would have started it earlier in the season, but it wasn't my fault. The editor took a while to get in shape, ready for this series to start. And again, it's kind of, I mean, I would say it's no one's fault, but I suppose the developers left quite a few bugs in the editor that needed resolving. But even then, nothing's perfect. There's always teething problems when things are released. It sounds like there are similar problems in the editor this year, but at least the guys making the database this year know how to get around them, or around most of them. Oh, Hudson Doncaster. He's already come on as a sub. So is Cotter, hitting the post there. So yeah, things like that. I wish I was able to start it earlier. I also wish that I'd got the club involved a little bit more. And again, this isn't a criticism. This is me not really having the confidence to put myself out there a little bit more. I'd have loved it if I had, during the live streams, a member of staff or a member of the playing squad actually join me on a Discord call, say, and we chat about the match whilst it's being played. How that would have worked, I don't quite know, because obviously the person would have needed to have been able to see the match as well. And obviously, yeah, I'm streaming it, but there would have been a delay. So maybe screen sharing it on Discord or something, but then you've got that extra back. I don't know. It's all technical. It's something I would like to do on the new series, but not really thought much about that side of things yet, because my internet here is still terrible. And it's bad enough just uploading these videos, never mind doing, live streams and Discord calls as well. Anyone who's been watching the racing game streams recently, you'll hear me moan a lot about my internet there. And yeah, not like oh, that's a shot and a half from Rice Puto. In the past, I've rushed through the early seasons, and I wanted to take my time a little bit more with these ones, especially as the Real Hatfield Town are in the Hertfordshire Senior County League Premier Division, which, again, I don't know why the league names get longer the further down the pyramid you go, but they do. And I didn't really want to disrespect the club or the league by just rushing straight through that first season and go, right, that's done, now let's get closer to the Premier League and the Champions League and things like that. So the first season I went really, really slow, and then the second season was just as slow, because I kept feeling like, sometimes there were league matches where I just thought, oh, this is going to be a really good one. It'll make a really good stream. But again, when you've made your own squad, it's very hard to make a squad that's in line with the league that you're currently in. In our case, we're way too good. We blitzed the first league, absolutely destroyed them. And we did the same in the second league too. So it's not always fun to watch a 8-0 win. And you can kind of hear it in my voice as well towards the end of the stream. I'm like, oh, it's another goal. Yay. And, seeing goals is always fun. Seeing lots of goals is always fun. But when it's the same team constantly scoring, I like 4-3s and things like that. The most exciting match in the first few seasons, or the first couple of seasons of this series, was the 3-2 win against Welwyn Garden, where Gadger came on for his debut and scored the winning goal in, was it the 87th or 88th minute? That was the most exciting match of the early stages of this series. After that, and before that, it was a little bit repetitive. Rinse, repeat. Baker scores 50 goals a season. Hudson Doncaster scores 30. That's a goal from Cotter as well. That's his 40th of the season, so you see the problem still persists. And it wasn't it wasn't boring, it wasn't dull or anything like that, but I can imagine for you guys as the audience as well, it wasn't the most enjoyable thing just seeing win after win after win. And that will change for this new series, because I'm going to scale down the players' abilities to better match the league in which we're in. I'm not going to OP the playing squad. And if that means we have to lose a couple at the end of the first season, we're going to have to do that, I'm afraid. And it's nothing against the real life players. It's just football. It's how it's going to work. So those are the basic cons. Those are the things I didn't like. The things I loved was, I mean, the club have been great in helping, first of all, create the series in the first place. The players at the time filled out a survey so that we could get an idea as to what stats to use. That was then handed over to John, who changed pretty much all of them. Yeah, all of them. So I asked them to, as you know, Football Manager, most stats are rated out of 20. I asked the players to rate themselves 1 to 5 for each area, and then the plan was to multiply that by 4, and that would create their player ratings out of 20. I then handed off the numbers to John, and basically the general consensus was they're all too high. So he lowered them for me, made them a little bit more realistic, and then I put them in. And even then, they turned out to be too high in terms of the game. But yeah, the club were great in helping me out with that. I'm very grateful to the players, the coaching staff as well, the managers at the time, for filling in these surveys, stupid little surveys that I created so I could get a good idea of stats. We're going to do something similar again this year, but not quite to the same extent. Again, more about that in the second half of the video. It's nice to see the opposition scoring a goal here as well. It was a well-taken goal. That's the kind of goal I'd expect one of my players to score. So, again, it sounds weird cheering on the opposition, but I do like it when they actually score a goal against us. It means we're human. That's a ball, though. Oh, Cotter, unlucky. That would have been a very good goal. I probably would have, saved that as a short or something. I'm going to start doing shorts as well. I've been doing shorts for racing games, and it seems to do really, really well for gaining views and stuff. So I'm going to do the same thing on this channel and hope we get the same result. Who knows? But yeah, big thanks to the club for letting me do it. I know it's a big risk for the club to take as well, to let some nobody from the same town who just happens to have played them in Football Manager before, sort of that much access to the club. But I think, in terms of raising awareness of Hatfield Town, I know I've got people. Oh, it's a goal from Evans as well. I know I've got people from sort of around the world asking me about Hatfield, and that's always the goal, to raise the profile of a club that I'm now very, very close to and want to see do well. 2 years ago when I first started, 3 years ago was it, when I first started playing as Hatfield, it was really just to play as a club from my hometown, a little bit of local pride, and if I could get their name out there, so be it. But I was always looking at it from a distance, whereas now, I get to work with the club on a weekly basis, with helping them with match day production, match day programs, things like that. I know I keep saying this, I will start helping them out with more like of the media side, YouTube videos, things like that. To be fair, Aiden's done a very good job with the YouTube channel so far, probably better than I would have done if I was starting out for the first time, so hats off for that. And the club are doing so many cool things now. They've got a club shop, they've got a YouTube channel, social media is always active. On the pitch, things are starting to look good as well. It's really, really exciting, and I love the fact that I've just been a small cog in the Hatfield Town machine. And again, I'm really grateful for the club to take that risk and actually let me on board and help out wherever I can. It's helped me out a lot too. Don't get me wrong. I mean, the job I've got now is partially because of the work I've been doing. So for selfish reasons, it's been good too. But I'd say it's been mutually beneficial, hopefully. And long may it continue. That was a good goal as well, by the way, from, is that Peterson? I think that's it. This is a good ball over the top. Where is it? This one here, is it? Yeah. And that is a nice half volley past Murray, who didn't really stand much of a chance, to be fair. I'm not going to criticise him for that one. Well taken goal. So yeah, enough of me rambling about, being grateful and stuff like that. Obviously I am, don't get me wrong. But it's been a good experience doing this series. And like I said, I don't want to do the same thing again next year. I don't want to keep doing a rinse and repeat each and every year. I want to change things up. I want to try and make it a little bit more grounded, a little bit more realistic, a bit more of a challenge, but at the same time, have it where it won't take a full year to just do 4 seasons. Because I believe this is the end of the 4th season we've come to now. I want to make it more interesting for me. Because if I switch off, there's no hope of anyone watching. Because why would you watch a video where even the creator's not interested? And I also want to make it more interesting for you. So the streams will become a little bit more interactive. Now I'm going to try and get more of an audience. I'm learning how to do that now, which is great. I'm not going to try and be similar to other content creators, obviously, because they do their own thing and they do it very well. There might be a couple of tips and tricks I pick up along the way. One of the biggest tips I've picked up recently is how to scout youth intakes. That's something I've been doing a lot of and really tapping into that side of things. Everyone knows I love youth development in Football Manager. I like building teams with low average ages, going on to win big titles, signing a player for 20 million and selling them 2 years later for 120 million. That's always a fun thing to do. Obviously, we're not going to do that at this level, but it's still nice when you can bring through a player and sell them for a lot of money. Hudson Doncaster in this save, for example, this is his penultimate game for us, really. He might play in the away game, obviously, but on camera, this is his penultimate game because at the end of the season, he goes back to Coventry. And I've already tried inquiring to get him next season. They don't want to sell him for less than £1 million, and we can't afford that. They also don't want to loan him to us because they want him to play with higher quality players, which is a bit of a slap in the face for some of the players in our team, particularly players like Griffiths, who's a very, very good right winger, and Cotter, who's an excellent striker. But what can you do? Anyway, that's the end of the first half of this video. Do come back in just a second. I mean, you're probably still going to be here. It's just literally going to transition into the second part of the video. But do come back and I'll start talking to you about what my plans are for Hatfield Town in Football Manager moving forward. Alrighty then, we are back. Welcome to the second half of the video. Those of you who've stuck by to hear the news, welcome back. And yeah, we're going to go into the second video. I've really butchered this, but I can't stop now. I'm a one-take man. I've got to do everything one take. That's it. Okay, second game then. Now, this is the final game of the season, and we are going to be saying goodbye to some players at the end of this season. So I thought I'm going to round up as many of the players as possible who may not be with us next season. I can't guarantee everyone who's about to play is going to be gone, but there are players who I think their time might be up. For various reasons, whether it's age, ability, they're wanting to find first team football. There's a few factors at play here, but I thought we'd give them a good send-off by letting them play in our final match of the season. So Kieran Extents, first and foremost in goal. Absolute legend. Was our goalkeeper for so long. First 3 seasons. Thick and thin. Won 3 league titles. Couple of cups as well. Excellent goalkeeper. But this season has been ousted by Adam Parks. And with Murray as a backup only getting better, it was about time that we reviewed what was going on here with Extent. And I think I'm going to try and move him up into coaching like he's done in real life. He's the goalkeeping coach of Hatfield Town. So I think I might try and do that. We'll see. I think he's got his coaching badges. If not, I'll work to get him his coaching badges. If that means he has to stay as a player for an extra season while he does that, then so be it. But I'd rather that than see him out the door immediately and not be able to keep him. Left back, Diego Ruiz. Again, just first team football is the reason he'll be leaving. If he does go, of course. Obviously, there has to be a market for these players. Just hasn't found first team football here. We've had so many good centre-backs. It's been really, really tricky to find a place for all of them. And unfortunately, he is one who has lost out. Now, centre-backs are a bit tricky because actually all of the centre-backs I kind of want to keep. But I'm going to be giving a debut here. So it's not final game, it's first game. And that's to this guy here who's just signed for us. I signed him between matches. This is Toby Cool. I believe that's how you pronounce his surname. Maybe it's Cool. Joined on a free transfer from Bournemouth. Hasn't played for Bournemouth. Hasn't played for us yet. That's about to change. Really bright young talent, though, by the looks of things. 17 years old. He's 6'3" almost. Excellent pace, considering his height. Really good strength. Agility. I'm amazed that someone that tall can have an agility of 15, but he does. Balance of 14. Really good jumping reach. Heading of only 8, which is a bit strange, but tackling of 12, which again, for a centre-back, is exactly what you want. Positioning and decisions, both good. Bravery, also good. And he's not very aggressive, which means, okay, sometimes he might not put his foot in where he should, but you also don't want him getting sent off every game. So, good to see. I think Evans is going to stay at right centre-back for now. I don't know what's going on with my scroll wheel, by the way. It's a bit weird. And then right back, we've got Harwood here, but I think... I mean, Harwood's not leaving. I'll state that on the record now. Harwood is not leaving. I think he is actually going to be our right back for this game, because we don't seem to have anybody else. Yeah, that's kind of backfired on me slightly, but oh well. Central midfield then. Gadger can keep his place. Boateng, yeah, I'm actually going to knock him out of this for now. I think he might still be leaving, but I'm going to start Hammond at right central midfield here. Hammond is one of these ones, he's actually doing very well with his coaching badges. And again, I want to move him up into a coaching role. So, technically, he's not leaving, but he probably will cease to be a player, if he wants to, of course. If not, then we've got a bit of a stalemate going on. But I think his playing days in this, at least, are over. And I want him to go out with a bang, as it were. Then we've got the attacking midfield. Now, I think for this one, it's going to be quite easy. It's going to be the twins either side. And the really obvious one, Hudson Doncaster through the middle. I really want him to stay. I so want him to stay. He is by far our best player right now. But Coventry aren't interested in selling him for a reasonable amount. And they have no interest whatsoever in loaning him out for anything less than an eye-watering amount of money. So, I'm afraid this is going to be his last game for us, which is very, very sad. Maybe one day we'll meet again, but for now, it is goodbye to Carter Hudson Doncaster. And then up front, we've got Baker. I was going to bring Stevens in, but I'm actually going to move Stevens to the bench instead of Cotter. We've got to work on the bench as well in a second. But yeah, Baker, just the quest for first team football. He's fallen victim to Cotter existing, to be honest. Baker has been an exceptionally good striker for us. You might remember, fans of the channel for a few years now, you remember the absolute legends, Alex Dinsmore, forgotten their names, Robbie Porter, and Danny Clifton. And basically, Baker is that. He's the new generation of that. You look at his goals, 126 goals in only 96 appearances, 40 in his first season, 33 in his second, and 45 in his third. Only 8 goals this season, but in 15 games, that's still over a goal a game. Just incredible player. I am going to miss him terribly, but I think it's time that he went off and found a team where he can play regular first team football and not have to worry about young usurpers coming through and taking his place. Although that is football, that just happens. It's a fact of life, unfortunately. But yep, that's our starting lineup. Bench is also relatively simple. Rafe Brown is going to be the first sub. Now, Spooner is also going to sit on the bench, but he's also not leaving. He's very much staying. Then we've got Vela, who I didn't mean to do that. Vela, Rice Puto, who may or may not stick around. If he does stick around, I think he'll be out on loan next season. Sadie, Griffiths here. I'm going to take Griffiths out. Actually, I'm also going to take Sadie out because I don't want Sadie to go. I'm going to bring in Boateng for Sadie. Sadie, I'm hoping, is going to take the place left by Hudson Doncaster, and he played well in the first game of this episode, so yeah, I've got my fingers crossed on that one. And then the final sub, actually, it might have to be Sadie because I haven't got anyone else. But again, Sadie not leaving, but he's going to come in for Griffiths here. Alrighty then, final game of the season. Let's get to it. And I've got some very, very big news to share with you, as I promised in the first half of the video. So, as I said, the series is drawing to a close. It's not over just yet. I am still going to fill the time before the database is ready on FM22. I am going to stagger this, though, so it might not be exactly every other week, but this will chop and change with the FM22 Journeyman series that I'm running. Basically, it's whenever I can record a video on either game. Sometimes I have to progress the game off camera, and I don't always have time to do that. So if I've got one ready, then I can record a video. So it might not necessarily be this time next week, for example. It might be Real Hatfield Town again, and then 3 weeks running after that, it might be Journeyman. I don't know. Can't make any guarantees right now. But I can reveal that I have come up with a title for the new series, and it's not going to be the Something Hatfield Town, which might come as a shock to many, because that seems to be my thing at the moment. No, my new... Oh, let me just turn the match plan back on. Don't know why that turned off. My new series is going to be called... Brace for probably the worst pun you're ever going to hear in your life, but it is called Stags to Riches. Everyone does a rags to riches at some point, whether it's on FIFA, Football Manager, I mean, any game really where progression can be done financially as well as XP will have a rags to riches type series. And I'm not saying anything about Hatfield Town per se, but starting in the lower leagues of English football, you're not exactly rolling in the cash. So Stags to Riches is the name of the new series, and it's also an inspiration for what's going to happen during the series. No longer am I going to buff all the players to make sure we win our first league title. No longer am I going to subtly increase the reputation of the club. That was a bad goal to concede. Am I going to subtly increase the reputation of the club in order to attract good players? No longer am I going to give the youth facilities a boost so that our first youth intake spreads across to the second season. No. This time we're going hardcore. We're literally starting basement level. Next to no money, next to no reputation, next to no youth facilities. And we're doing it the hard way. We are hopefully going to develop some youth players along the way. Every good club does. Hatfield Town have done so with the Chowdhury twins in real life. And also with players like Hudson Doncaster, who is now playing somewhere else in real life, I believe, but did come through at Hatfield. And there are other players who are starting to break through. And Hatfield are doing a really, really good job with their youth coaching, which is one of the reasons why I did give them a little buff this year to try and replicate that. But again, as usual, I kind of buffed it a little too far. Wow, that's a bad goal to concede as well. Thankfully, the offside flag's gone up. But yeah, this year it's going to be hardcore. We're doing things very, very differently. Next to no money. I'm going to have to work on a proper budget. And there are going to be rules in place. I'm not to exceed the wage budget. If it means I can't sign a player, so be it. If it means I can't renew a player's contract, that player's going to have to leave. Whether it's a free transfer at the end of their contract, which more often than not happens in non-league, or whether it's trying to sell them for just a little bit more money towards the end, just to recoup some of the loss, basically. There is going to be a relative plan in place for how to get around that kind of thing. Anyone who knows me personally, you know I got a thing for spreadsheets, and I will try and keep a spreadsheet that documents everything, and I'll include a link to that in the description of videos so that you guys can check it out. There's going to be graphics. That's something else I wanted to talk about. So, behind the scenes, off camera, I have been working on some graphics packages. I think I might have mentioned this before in the last episode. So far, I've got a match day animation where a football comes across and then it goes across the screen and it reveals the logo of Hatfield Town, the club badge, and then it reveals the badge of the opposition, and then it has like a date, a time, and a location. We've got a home version, we've got an away version. There will be more. There will be substitutions, yellow cards, red cards, goals, that kind of thing. And they will be used not just on my YouTube channel. And again, Tom, my brother, he's going to be editing the highlights for me after live streams and 90-minute matches. And the graphics will be used for that. I might try and get it on OBS as well, where if I'm streaming, for example, and we score a goal, I might try and have the animation queued up ready to go. I can't guarantee how easy that's going to be, but we'll give it a go. But yeah, they will be used on highlights videos. We both use Adobe, so I can just produce the files, send them over to him, and he can work his magic with them. I also would like to use those for the Real Hatfield Town as well, if they want to use them. That's what they were made for originally, and they've kind of been recycled for this. Or at least the plan was to use them. I hadn't actually made them at the time. That's a bit misleading. Yeah, I hadn't made them. Now I have. I want to try and do things like that, kind of push myself as a creator a little bit more and see what I can do. Since this time last year, I've grown a lot as an editor, so I want to try and use those skills in my own work, because what's the point in learning these things if you don't actually use them to better yourself as well? There was another important thing I was going to talk. Oh yeah, shorts. So I mentioned that earlier on. During the highlights editing, if there's a really good goal or a standout moment, something funny, something epic like an overhead kick goal, something like that, that will be turned into a short. Now, most people do have a separate channel for shorts. I don't know if I can be bothered to do that, so I'm going to create a new playlist on this channel and have it dedicated to Football Manager shorts. It could be the Journeyman ones as well, but it'll mostly be Stags to Riches. It'll probably be called Stags to Riches Shorts or something like that. I don't know. But that's a basic synopsis as to what's going to happen with the new series. Hopefully you guys are in support of it. I know I am. I love the idea that I've got here. I literally made up the title first and worked from there. So some of it is a little bit work in progress still, but most of it is pretty much set up and ready to go. There'll be new thumbnails. I'm still using my old format of thumbnails right now for this series, but I will switch to the new format, or a newer format. It'll be slightly different to what I use on all my other videos, because obviously I want to incorporate the Hatfield colours in and things like that. And the final thing is getting the club involved. So again, whether it's player interviews during live streams or getting the manager on if he's up for it, and going over the weekend's results. I'm going to try and stream on Sundays if I can, so I'll be talking about the previous day's match. I'm not going to step on the toes of the club's official YouTube channel though, so I'm going to be working with them to make sure that I'm not covering something that they want to cover on their own channel. I will eventually chat to Aiden about that, because as I said earlier, I think what he's doing is very, very good. This was an epic goal, by the way, from Chowdhury. That would make a really good short, for example. What a good free kick. And again, some of this is spitballing. Things might change between now and the series actually launching. I'm going to go and recreate all the team as well in the game from scratch. Not as good as this current crop of players are. They will be a little bit more realistic. Still good, but realistically good, if that makes sense. Same with the coaches, same with the manager and everything like that. I'm actually going to try and work it this time so that John remains the chairman, because I think, was it the very first episode, I started the game up, and because he was listed as chairman / goalkeeping coach, he immediately stepped down as chairman to focus on being a coach. Not going to make that mistake again. I'm going to have John purely as the chairman. I'm going to try and make it so that he never leaves the club as well. He will always be the chairman. I don't know how easy that will be to do. Say we do get to the Premier League, for example. Obviously, finances change. Clubs do change hands. But we'll try and keep that status quo for as long as possible. Current coaches will remain. So Ray, who's the manager at the moment, I want him to become the director of football if I take over as manager. I think that's only fair. He gets a promotion. He doesn't get binned like most managers would do in real life. And yeah, that's basically it. And the full-time whistles come at a very good time as the players do their lap of honour. The season is over. We won the league. Really nice 2-1 win here against Merstham as well. On another day, it could easily have gone against us, actually. They only had one shot on target and scored it. And only 2 shots total. What's possession? 46 to them, 54 to us. Yeah, we needed Chowdhury's to bail us out. Was it the same? Was it Afsar who scored both? Oh no, Akram did score the first and then Afsar with the free kick. So I've just said it's their last game for us and they've bailed our asses out, which is very nice of them to do. But I still think they need to leave in order to find first team football. There will be a huge squad overhaul during this summer. Players will leave, players will join. I've already started that rebuilding process with the signings of players like Cool. I've also got a striker in on trial at the moment, whose name I'm trying to remember. Enoch Asante, I think his name is. He's a wide target man who can also play as a striker, as a target man, obviously. And that's what attracted me to signing him, was the word target man, because it's not the most attractive form of football, but it is an effective form of football at certain levels. And I think sometimes when our backs are against the wall, we need someone that we can just lump the ball long to and deal with it and hold on to it and things like that. So Hopefully we'll bring him in. There's a couple of midfielders I'm looking at as well, which means, again, the squad balance will need to shift slightly so that we've got room in the squad to bring these guys in. If I find Asante quickly. There he is, Enoch Asante. Really, really good stats for what I want him to do. At least he's fast, he's strong, he's got good stamina, good acceleration. He's, what, 6'2"-ish, 6'2" and a bit-ish, 186 centimeters. So I always have it, it's not exact, but I always have it as 180 centimeters is 6 foot, because effectively 30 centimeters in a foot, 6 times 30 is 180. It's not exact, because I think 30 centimeters isn't quite 12 inches. It's like 12 and change or something like that. But yeah, he's basically 6'2". Let's just go with that. Good star rating as well. I try to ignore this as much as I can. But as a right midfielder, can play as a wide target man, which is an extra element that not many teams have. And then as a striker, he can not only play target man, but pressing forward. So he is versatile, which is also valuable. Good teamwork, good work rate. His finishing isn't the best, but 9 at this level still shouldn't be sniffed at, let's be honest. Long shots is impressive, and penalty taking. We've had some naff penalties this season, so to have a good penalty taker is also valuable. And the best thing is, he's only 22, so his stats are increasing. With the right coaching, who knows what he might be able to achieve. We do have some other players on trial actually as well. Some of these are youth guys. Some of these are... So this guy here, Ruben Duncan. I don't think I'll be going forward with this one. Can't quite put my finger on it, but it just doesn't feel like that good a player, if that makes sense. Like, don't get me wrong, his star rating looks good, but his stats kind of let him down a little bit. Pace is Strength is awful. This guy is what? 6 foot... 6'4"? Actually, just for that alone, I kind of want to sign him now. He's got a heading of 10. But yeah, he's got awful strength. And he's 23. So I don't think it's going to get better. You might have to leave me with that one for a little bit, and we'll see. And then everyone else on trial right now, I think, is just going to... Or maybe Cameron Thompson. He's a striker, not a cam. But I might retrain him as a cam if I do bring him in. Again, I'm looking for a replacement for Hudson Doncaster. No one's going to replace him perfectly, but at least someone who can play that role and play it well. But that does it for Season 4 of the Real Hatfield Town. We will be back for a Season 5. I can't promise we'll finish Season 5, but we will at least start a Season 5. I will finish it off camera regardless. But, yeah. Yeah, that's the end of Season 4. So thank you very much, guys, for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button if you enjoyed the video. And, of course, if you've enjoyed the series so far. I would pick the worst time to hiccup. It's really annoying. Drop those comments down below. I would ask for tactic signings, transfers, but I think we're past that point of the series now. But if you've got any ideas for Stags to Riches, let me know down below. If you've got any feedback about this series as well, anything that I could change, tweak, anything like that would help me with the new series, also please let me know. I'm very, very interested in hearing people's ideas, what works, what doesn't, that kind of thing. So don't think your opinion doesn't matter, because trust me, it does. You guys are my audience after all, so I want to make sure that I'm providing content that you can all enjoy. Other than that, if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, be sure to hit the subscribe button, and welcome to the channel. If you have already subscribed to the channel, thank you guys for your continued support. It's very much appreciated as always. Please do check out Hatfield Town's YouTube channel and social media, links to all of which will be in the description. And yeah, thanks for watching again, and until next time, I will see you soon.